Hello everyone, my name is Mita Wakhida. I came from Indonesia. I'm delighted to be in this ICCB 2021 and I'm so happy to sharing our SOFIS study in Indonesia. And at this moment, I will present to all of you what inside our abstract entitled Traditional Ecological Knowledge, Profiles of Local Extinction Status of SOFIS in Lake Sentani, Papua, Indonesia. As already know that sawfish are among the most feathered marine fishes in the world, and historically sawfish were found in coastal in 19 nations, and the greatest species richness occurring in the Indo-West Pacific nations of India, Indonesia, Malaysia, Papua New Guinea, and Australia. But now sawfish are presumed extinct in more than half these nations. And as one of the nations that have the greatest species richness, from all 5 species of sawfish in the world, 4 of them were found in Indonesia. And 2 species were downlisted under critically endangered category, which is larger sawfish and green sawfish. And the other 2 is narrow sawfish and dwarf sawfish were downlisted under endangered category. And Lake Sentani is a large tropical lake situated in the Jayapura Regency of Papua Province, Indonesia, and it was recognized as a former of a stronghold of larger sawfish. But how did sawfish get in the Lake Sentani? A long time ago, Lake Sentani was part of the sea, and due to geological process, the sea turned into a lake. And marine animals trapped into the lake, then they adapted to their new ecosystem, including sawfish. And here, this is one of the sawfish rostrum that was caught in Lake Sentani. It can be strong evidence that sawfish truly exists in there at the time. And this rostrum now held by Papua Museum. And the presence of sawfish in Lake Sentani makes it one of the iconic fish in there. However, sawfish were last reported caught in 1974. And the other side, landing records of sawfish in Lake Sentani are extremely rare, if not even possible, and so little information is available on their status, diversity, and recent occurrence. So, are they possibly extinct, or if they still exist, where have all the sawfish gone? And to answer that question, Sawfish Indonesia teams conducted a survey on January 2021 in 10 villages which spread along Lake Sentani. And we were carry out interviews and used a semi-structured questionnaire were based on adapted questionnaire from Lini et al. 2018 and was modified by Hollywood and Sawfish Indonesia team. We also use brochure of sawfish to guide the discussions, and when local residents were not understood Indonesian languages, the local representative translated into their local languages. Okay, and the interviews were conducted with 72 local residents, and of these respondents, 52 were male and 20 were female. And the majority of interviewees, which 24 were between 51 till 60 years of age. Another 22 interviewees were over 60 years old, and the remaining, as much as 25 interviewees, consist of younger residents. An interviewee's age was correlated more or less with how familiar that resident was with the sawfish formerly present in Lake Sentani and the cause of their extinction. And during our study, we recorded 2 dialectical variants of the Sentani language term for sawfish, which are called malemai or maramai. For the term malemai is commonly used by local people in Eastern Sentani. Meanwhile, the term maramai is used by the West Sentani community. It has a slightly different between the 2 dialectical, but still refer on the same species. Okay, now it's all graph. It's shown the experience and knowledge of sawfish. For the first graph, only 44 of person interviewed had direct experience with sawfish in the past. 13 of respondents know nothing about sawfish and had never seen or even heard of even heard stories about sophists in their lifetime. And 16 of interviewees reported that in their lifetime they had caught sophists in Lake Sentani, while 15 of them had only heard stories about sophists from their parents or their village elders. And among the respondents who had seen sophists, 13 of them were from 51 till 60 years old age class, while another 10 were from more than 60 years old age class. None of the younger interviewees, which is 20 till 30 years old age class, have seen sophists in their lifetime. Similarly, the majority of respondents who reported actually catching a sawfish were in the greater than 70 years old age class with a total number of 6. Meanwhile, all respondents in the less than 51 years old age class stated that they never had caught sawfish in their lifetime. And based on the result of these interviews, it can be seen that only a few young people know or at least had heard stories about the sawfish that formerly common in Lake Sentani. And this disparity of knowledge about Sentani's sawfish population exists because only older residents have had direct experience with sawfish in the past, such that younger people have only heard stories from their parents about this iconic race. Okay. At this slide, there's a map that's showing location where sophists were caught or seen. And it shows that location of sophists caught or seen is separate from the eastern side till the west side of the lake. And like I mentioned it before, Sunyata reported that in 1974, only one sophist was caught, and the following year was never caught again. He also states that sophists were possibly extinct from the lake. Meanwhile, there is one interviewee who claimed that his last scene of sophists is in 1981. So there are two different years that indicate the last time sophist was seen or caught. However, we can't really say for sure what year sophist actually become extinct from the lake. And based on the fact that local resident in Lake Sentani is a traditional community, we split the cause of extinction into two different explanations. And for the first explanation is from the scientific side. So as much as 13 respondents were aware of bycatch from gillnets as the main reason for declining sawfish population, pushing them into local extinction nowadays. This is in line with Kadarusman 2008, who states that the main cause of extinction of sawfish from the Lake Sentani was use of gillnets, which were introduced to the community in Sentani in 1969. And for the folklorical explanation, there are various causes of the extinction of sawfish, which are believed by a local community in Sentani. For the first causes is the disappearance of sawfish was the act of a magician who deliberately eliminated a dangerous species from the lake by using dark force or through spirit of the dead. And the second causes is local community believes that sawfish still inhabit in the deep waters of the lake. They are just magically hidden by an Ondoafi. Ondoafi is a traditional leader in Sentani. So because of this, they are no longer seen by people. And both causes based on the cultural assumption that sawfish are evil animals and that make Sentani people afraid that attack when doing activities around the lake. And during our study, we found cultural significance of sawfish. And this is for the first picture. For the first picture, this is a carving motif. It was found in a traditional house called Obe, located in Dundee village. From this picture, we can see that one of the carvings in this traditional house is depicts a sawfish. And for the second picture, we found that sawfish was used as a motif on traditional park painting called combos. And nowadays, these popular traditional paintings sold to tourists visiting Jayapura, especially in Lake Sentani. And for the last part from this presentation is conclusion. For the first conclusion is from the last report card or last scene, it has been more than 3 decades that there have been no reported sighting of sawfish in Sentani. This confirms the prediction that sawfish were possibly extinct from the lake. And this study has supplied in important additional detail concerning the history and causes of the disappearance of larger sawfish in Lake Sentani. It appears that the emergence of a beginning gillnet fishery during the 70s quickly decimated sawfish population resident in the lake, as the sawfish are highly vulnerable to bycatch mortality in net fisheries. And the last is inaccurate perception of sawfish have arisen. A significant misconception that will hamper conservation effort is not addressed by educational efforts, so that the people residing along the shores and islands of Lake Sentani revere and value these unique fishes, not fear and revile them. Okay, I think that's all for me, and thank you so much for your interest and attention.